The disrespect is getting loud. We're going to talk about some predictions from the media outlets out there talking about who they think will dominate this game for the NFC Championship game. We're also going to discuss some injury report updates, all that and much more, all on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and before we get into today's video, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Before we get into all the news today, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. When you download Kalshi with the link down below, you can use code DIGESTNFL. Again, that's DIGESTNFL, so you get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi, for those who don't know, is the largest prediction market in the entire United States. On their platform, you can trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news, and pretty much anything and everything that you can think of. And whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere else across the country, Kalshi is live in all 50 states. For us sports fans, you could trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or playoff performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. I mean, take a look at what I cashed out on actually early last week. I actually was able to cash out on the MVP winner. Yeah, sure, small trade for sure, but I traded my $10, got $15 back. I was able to trade before Matthew Stafford even won MVP. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't win MVP. Maybe they say, you know what, we're going to give it to Drake May. Well, guess what? I cashed out early, more than doubled my investment. Also, you can take a look at what they have going on right now in terms of the NFC Championship winner. Is it going to be the Rams? Is it going to be the Seahawks? Right now, the Seahawks are favored 59%. If you trade on Kalshi right now, you'd have a 42% chance. You're the one that's actually getting the more of the benefit, the more of the quote-unquote risk there. But we're Rams fans. We know the Rams are going to the Super Bowl. Trade on Kalshi now so you don't miss out on this opportunity. Again, Kalshi, it's genuinely a smarter way for you to use your sports or news knowledge, and you could close positions whenever you want. Download Kalshi with a link in the description. Don't forget to use Digest NFL. Again, that's code Digest NFL, so you get $20 when you trade your first 100. Again, thank you to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. All right, let's get straight into it. And before we go into the whole people predicting that maybe the Rams are the team to win this game, we're going to talk a little bit about some boring stuff here. And I only call it boring because luckily for the Rams, slightly uneventful here, as the Rams-Seahawks injury report, the final updates for the NFC Championship game have been released. A couple of major updates, sure, but nothing that we didn't really expect, I should say. So Byron Young, questionable for Los Angeles after being limited in practice this week. This comes to us from Cameron DeSilva of the Rams Wire. And, for the Rams side of things, I'm messing these up for some reason. For the Rams side of things, they've been relatively healthy at this point of the year. It's January, right? You've been playing for quite a few months at this point in time. So you're kind of very fortunate to be relatively healthy at this point in the season. The Rams lucky enough to be at that point in the season. I mean, remember Matthew Stafford at some point in time, it seemed like he may not even start the season. He's joked about that recently in comments, right? Like, I was just hoping to get to week 1, and he did. But, there was some fear around that. And the age of Davante Adams, he's missed some games. Obviously, still not really 100% back from his hamstring injury. So a lot of things obviously can go awry when we're talking about the injury side of things. But luckily for the Rams, for now, are relatively in a healthy position. And so for the Rams-Seahawks injury report, the Los Angeles Rams game going into the NFC Championship game, I should say, Quentin Lake, he dealt with the illness this week. He did not practice on Wednesday, but he was a full participant after the fact, so he looks like he's back healthy, ready to go. Byron Young didn't practice with his knee injury on Wednesday or Thursday, limited in practice Friday, questionable for Sunday, but Sean McVay did say he is expecting Byron Young to play this football game. Emmanuel Forbes limited for a couple of days this week, ends up finishing the week with a full practice. Same for a guy like Josiah Stewart. Well, not the same, I guess, full practice since Wednesday. He's all good, ready to go. Rob Havenstein had some limited practices, but officially is already listed as out for this football game. When it comes to Rob Havenstein, by the way, you kind of start to wonder and question whether or not he's played his last snap of football for the Los Angeles Rams. Of course, you want to have that guy back since he was technically speaking your starting right tackle, but he hasn't started for you in quite some time. And when it comes to offensive line, a lot of times continuity is really valued. And if he can be healthy after a couple more weeks, obviously if the Rams win this football game and he's ready for a Super Bowl, for example, then sure, let him be marked as healthy and active, but probably back up to Warren McClendon, just because to give credit to what Warren McClendon has done so far this year, but also you don't want Rob Havenstein knocking off rust in a game like a Super Bowl, right? So for now, we know he's out of the NFC Championship game. Probably similar reasons. You don't want him knocking off rust in an NFC Championship game and that be a reason for a little bit of your downfall, right? So the Rams probably playing it smart there by not necessarily starting Rob Havenstein, but good sign for him. On a personal note, if the Rams win this football game, maybe we can see him at some point this season, at least suited up, right, to finish this year. And so Again, from the Rams side of things, the big news is we heard some rumors about the practices from Rob Havenstein, and then now obviously we know officially he is out for this football game. And then Byron Young dealing with that limited practices at times. We also know officially now that it looks like he will be ready to play. It's big time for him to play. Joshua Feinhersh kind of talked about it a little bit in his episode. If you guys missed it, you can go back and check it out. But, Byron Young's going to be huge for this game. He's a sack leader for this team, and you want Jared Verse to be out there getting sacks and Braden Fisk getting some pressure, Kobe Turner, all these guys in company, but also Byron Young, your sack leader, being there for you when you need it the most. And so that is definitely key there. From the Seahawks side of things, their tackles, what we talked about last episode that I was on, they look like they're healthy now, ready to go, at least full participants in practice to end the week. So it looks like, Charles Cross, for example, was questionable, the left tackle. He will be out there ready to go. So that's obviously a positive. Sam Darnold, by the way, dealing with that oblique injury. We thought he wasn't going to play versus San Fran, does end up playing. He was limited all week in practice. Those are a couple big notes. Obviously, we know the Zach Charbonnet injury news, unfortunately, as well for them. So, again, that side of things, the Rams got to face who they face. Go out there and see what's in front of you. The Rams, luckily, from their side of things, again, are coming at it in a relatively healthy perspective. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this game, as obviously we have quite a bit to continue to discuss on this episode. Like a lot of insiders coming out and saying, leaning towards the Seattle Seahawks over the Los Angeles Rams in the NFC Championship game, which kind of does surprise me. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but this has been such a close matchup, right? Separated by 1 point when it's all said and done for the entire season. Very interesting to see people leaning any type of way, let alone leaning toward the Seattle side of things. When you're talking about, for me and from my perspective, right, I'm thinking about Sam Darnold specifically. That's where it starts and that's where it kind of ends. I know a lot of people are looking at that Seattle defense and kind of hyping that side up, which obviously they're an incredible defense. Don't want to undersell that. But I do want to say that the concern, I think, from Seattle, and that hasn't been talked about much this year because a lot of people are giving Sam Darnold so much credit from going from Minnesota, leaving Minnesota, and how bad they've been since then. So obviously he was a big difference there. And now you go into Seattle, they completely changed the way their team has their outlook on the season. When they were, with Geno Smith, obviously they were not really thinking about Super Bowl, and now all of a sudden are thinking about Super Bowl. So you want to give Sam Darnold credit. USC quarterback, love the guy. Not this week, but do definitely root for Sam Darnold, generally speaking, in the NFL. So I understand that side of things of like rooting for him and giving him that credit. But also people are not really acknowledging some of the realities of this football game. I mean, I tweeted it, and I'm going to go back to my tweet here. I won't pull it up for you guys. But someone on Seattle, is a Seattle podcast. They're basically sitting there talking about, he thinks, this is Evan Hill. I don't know what podcast specifically this is from. Sleeper. I'm not really sure, but all I know is I saw this clip from Alan Sales on Twitter, and essentially he's saying Rams may be in for a rude awakening. There could be a blowout here. That's what he could expect, and just kind of wait and see what happens Sunday, and you can come back and make fun of him if he's wrong. But he's taking a little bit of a risk here and saying he thinks the Seahawks will win. And what I said was, it's interesting, right? Because Seattle struggled both regular season matchups versus the Rams. That's evidence for me to say this game will be close, or if anything, a blowout for Los Angeles. It's just genuinely how I feel about this, trying to be unbiased, of course. I think they're coming off of the San Francisco blowout on a high. Hopefully their team has that same mentality, and the Rams shock them. And that is definitely a key, right, difference to really think about. Their Seattle Seahawks are coming off of a game where they actually were dominant, right? They absolutely dominated San Francisco. They might be super hyped, super excited, super on a high level where they feel they're untouchable, and maybe the Rams kind of give them a little bit of a rude awakening themselves. But I continue my tweet, got a couple replies here, and I was just kind of essentially breaking this down a little bit more, right? So like 34-10 is what the guy predicted this score will be. A blowout for Seattle, 34-10 is what it would be. And I said, when the Rams have had 2 games all season long with under 20 points, just 2 games all season that they scored less than 20 points. So this offense obviously has been cooking regardless of who they play, regardless of who's healthy or who's hurt. They've been cooking all year long. And then one quote that the guy said was, Sam Darnold will take care of the ball. That's his prediction for Sunday. Well, how can we have that as a prediction when Sam Darnold threw 6 interceptions in 2 games versus the Rams? This defense, I'm not saying this is all going to happen on Sunday. What I am saying is the evidence is showing you that you can't rely and just assume Sam Darnold will take care of the football versus this Los Angeles Rams defense. And then he also predicted that Matthew Stafford will throw 3 interceptions. A guy who threw 8 picks all season, he's going to throw 3 in the biggest game left, maybe one of the biggest games left of his career, right? And so I say all this to say a lot of predictions have been coming out. There are a lot of different people saying different things. Here's YouTube's prediction, right? When they pull out the NFL.com full prediction board. It's a 50-50 split here. Some saying Seattle, some saying the Rams. And obviously, again, this really can go either way. But it's just funny to me for anyone who comes out and says that it's going to be a blowout in favor of Seattle. I mean, look at Adam Rank, for example, 34-20. He thinks Seattle will win this football game. And that's a little bit shocking to me just because I'm thinking about the evidence. I'm not trying to be a Rams bias side of person here right now. I'm simply just trying to acknowledge like what was the breakdown of the regular season, how close those battles were, and then what was the evidence telling us. The Rams were dominating the Seahawks in the game that they lost. I'm going to give the Seahawks credit for any Seahawks fans watching this. They lost that game. I understand it. But when we're talking about acting like Sam Darnold put the team on his back and carried them to a victory, when in reality, Raheem ran a punt return back. Now, that's still a piece of the game that is definitely a factor the Rams special teams unit needs to worry about, but I'm just a little bit shocked to see how many people are coming out and saying that there could be a blowout. And honestly, either side of things, but if you want to say anyone's going to blow anyone out, my personal opinion, the Rams, I think, could blow the Seahawks out. If Sam Darnold throws another 3-4 pick game, I think the Rams could see themselves dominating this football game by taking the heart and soul out of this team. And so here's some more predictions here from CBS. You have mostly Seahawks and a couple Rams predictions for sure. So that's, great, I guess. But, ultimately, again, I'm not trying to sit here and say, oh, your prediction's dumb because X, Y, Z. I'm just a little bit shocked when people are saying the Seahawks would dominate this one because it all goes back to the quarterback. And you're talking about the quarterbacks left in the NFL. That is my biggest thing here. We're talking about Stafford. We're talking about Stidham. We're talking about Drake May. And you're talking about Sam Darnold, who is the most vested, who's the most experienced, who has been here before and done that before. Sam Darnold is, Matthew Stafford is that guy. Sam Darnold is not. And so that is why I'm thinking the Rams not only win this football game, move on and have a really good chance to win that football game the following couple of weeks. And so that's how I feel about all this. We'll talk a little bit more about the full prediction I have for this game, but I am curious to ask you guys, how do you guys feel about this football game, generally speaking? How are you feeling going into it? Of course, it's the NFC Championship game, so I think we're all going to be a little nervous. I think we're all going to be on the edge of our seats, excited to watch this football game, but trying to be as unbiased as possible. I'm really excited to see what this Rams D-line does to Sam Darnold. Can they get to him? Can they bother him? And can the Rams make him turn the football over? And on their side of things, can they take care of the ball? These are things that the Rams have not been doing a super good job of recently. But if they kind of put it all together and have, I don't want to say their best game of the season, which would be nice, but their best game of the last 6 weeks. I've been saying this for the last couple games now. The Rams have not been playing the best Rams football as of the last 5 or 6 weeks, since honestly Devontae Adams went out with an injury. And so now that he's back and a couple games under his belt, hopefully that hamstring's nice and warmed up and him and Matthew Stafford are on the same page again. And if that's the case, I highly anticipate the Rams to be back on their regularly scheduled programming and how their offense will be working. And hopefully that defense wakes up and becomes a 9-sack defense like they were last year versus Sam Darnold against in the wild card round, right, in Minnesota. So my prediction for this football game, I think the Rams will win this football game. I think it'll be a close game, but I ultimately think the Rams pull away at the end and they win this one 34-27. Going to be kind of a high-scoring game, especially in the second half. In my mind, I think the Rams do get to Sam Darnold. I think the Rams do sack him a handful of times. I think that Sam Darnold does turn the football over, whether that's fumble or interception, one or two of each of those things, or maybe just say one or two of one of those things happens. And that is my prediction for this game. Rams win 34-27. Obviously, we'll hear from Joshua Feinhersh tomorrow, Saturday, and then Sunday, it's time to put up or shut up for the Rams. Win or go home in the NFC Championship game. I am extremely excited to be live here for that football game. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and you're here for that live stream. Even if you're just playing it around in the background while you're watching the game on TV, make sure you guys tune in so you don't miss our live reactions to that game. Give your score predictions down below in the comment section. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this game. Scale 1 to 10. How confident are you going into this football game? Drop a comment down below. Moving on from that, last but not least, my favorite part of the episode, trivia of the day, where ask a trivia question. You give your trivia guesses down below in the comment section, whether you're right or whether you're wrong. We'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Last episode trivia of the day, we asked this question here. We said, which quarterback threw the most touchdown passes in a single NFL postseason? And only a couple of you guys played along with the trivia. Fine with me, no worries, all good, happens. But the multiple choice options was it A, Mahomes, B, Joe Flacco, C, Kurt Warner, D, Joe Montana, or E, all of the above? Which quarterback threw the most touchdown passes in a single NFL postseason? Mahomes, Flacco, Warner, Montana, or all of the above are tied. What was the correct answer? Well, a few of you guys get a shout out here for the multiple choice option guesses. Jim says, Josh, I have no idea. So I'm going to go with the Rams, Kurt Warner, ? Here's hoping for a great Sunday. Go Rams. Appreciate you, Jim. Yes, let's have a great Sunday. And B, I just want to make one more victory, or no, a couple more, but a couple more victory Mondays is all that I ask. Let's hope that's what the Rams can deliver. Floyd says, Rams are healthier. Seahawks are short at running back, and availability matters. Devontae Adams knows how hard playoff runs are from experience. Feels like the Rams have the edge going in. I'll go with Mahomes on the trivia. So Jim says Kurt Warner, and we have Floyd saying, he said, who'd you say, Floyd? You said Mahomes. Floyd says Mahomes, and Jim says Warner. The correct answer, technically speaking, they're both right. Why? Because the correct answer for the trivia of the day of who has the most, let me make sure I read the question correct. Which quarterback threw the most touchdown passes in a single NFL postseason game, or postseason? Jeez, can't talk right now. The correct answer was E, all of the above. Patrick Mahomes, Joe Flacco, Kurt Warner, and Joe Montana are all tied for 11 touchdown passes, being the most in one single playoff run. So waiting for a quarterback to throw 12 touchdown passes in one single run. But Mahomes, Flacco, Warner, and Joe Montana all have 11. So appreciate you, Jim. Appreciate you, Floyd, for both guessing. You both technically got it right. Both technically got it wrong. Appreciate both of you guys for playing along. If you guys saw this trivia question, you're like, that was easy. That was super easy. I would have said all of the above easily. Well, then go ahead and show us how easy these questions are. Guess down below in the comment section with today's trivia of the day so you can get a shout out on the next episode I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Today's episode of trivia of the day is this question here. Which running back rushed for the most yards in a single NFC Championship game? Speaking of some NFC Championship games, as we're about to approach one, which running back rushed for the most yards in a single NFC Championship game? Is it a Ram, by the way? Just like the picture is showing. We'll see if that's the case. The multiple choice options for you all is A, Eric Dickerson, B, Terrell Davis, C, Raheem Mostert, or D, Marshall Faulk. Again, which running back rushed for the most rushing yards in a single NFC Championship game? Is it A, Eric Dickerson? Is it B, Terrell Davis? Is it C, Raheem Mostert? Or is it D, Marshall Faulk? Give your guesses down below in the comment section. Whether you're right or whether you're wrong, we'll give you a shout out on the next episode that I'm on here at the Rams Digest. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already. Thank you again to Kalshi for sponsoring this video. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Josh Giron, and I'm out.